that quarry activity could pose. That includes lowering of water levels due to the quarry's removal of large volumes of groundwater. There is an excess of 50 wells, and I'm going to include this in the information I give to you, within a 2-mile radius of the proposed quarry site. These wells provide water to families, livestock, and farm products, and supply a volume of uncontaminated water to an area that has no available municipal water source. If the proposed quarry drills into a fracture that supplies a well or wells, some or all of these wells would likely no longer meet the owner's demand. This would indeed create a public health emergency for the affected well owners. Because water is essential to life, I am asking you to answer this question. If lost, how can a family replace their only water source? In addition to well water, there are multiple bodies of surface groundwater that are at risk. This includes, but is not limited to, Double Branch and Halawaki Creeks, which flow to Lake Harding and the Chattahoochee River, that are popular sites for water recreation and fishing. In 2012, your agency added Halawaki Creek to its list for impairment to support fish and wildlife due to siltation believed to be from land development throughout the Halawaki Creek watershed. Halawaki Creek remains on the ADEM final 2024 list of impaired waters. So why is Rocky Glades allowed by your permit to discharge pollutants into an already impaired stream? The native creek named Casita, a Creek word meaning wetlands. The wetlands in Casita are rich with fish and wildlife. There are 4 threatened and endangered species identified in the permit that make their home on or near the proposed quarry site. Based on research conducted by the Alabama Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, Todd Fobian identified 7 state-protected species that occur within 5 miles downstream of the proposed quarry. In addition, Jason Ross, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Biologist, identified that the Georgia rock cress is on the water map for Casita, but is not listed on the permit. I do wonder, what would the creek, who sold the proposed quarry property to the applicant's ancestors, think about the poor stewardship of their land? Thank you for your time in carefully considering the threat to air quality and water quantity and quality in Casita and Chambers County posed by the Rocky Glade pit. Our rural community has been made vulnerable through no fault of our own to health and environmental risks due to its proximity to the proposed quarry location. I am asking you to fulfill your mission to ensure a safe, healthful, and productive environment for Casita and Chambers County residents. Thank you.
Charles and Mary Carl, are you going to both speak? You both want 5 minutes?
I'm just going to introduce her.
Okay.
I'm glad I put my name on there.
Good evening. Thank you for being here for us to present. I'm Charles Carl. This is my wife, Mary. I've been a resident of Casita for 40 years. She is a lifelong resident of Casita, and I'm not going to say how many years that is. But as most people would rather hear Mary speak, I'm going to turn it over to her and let her tell you our concerns.
Mr. Hearing Officer, thank you for coming today and allowing us to express our concerns to you. I am a lifelong resident of Casita. Some of the information that I'm going to share came from a Chambers County well owner meeting that was held a few months ago. As I say lifelong resident, it is 64 years in Casita with the exception of going away for college. If I look further back, my family has been in Casita since at least the late 1800s. My dad farmed various crops including cotton, beef, and dairy cattle and planted enough peas at times to feed the multitudes. Through the years, Casita has been a place to call home and has provided a source of income for my family. The meeting referred to earlier was hosted by the Alabama Extension Office and Auburn University. Several of us attended that meeting, and we learned so much about our water quality, our wells, and our unique granite fracture system that we have in Casita and what that looks like. Information from that meeting brings to our attention concerns about our water if the proposed quarry becomes a reality. If we were playing Jeopardy, the clue would be a vital liquid substance that sustains life on Earth. And the answer would be, what is water? While water is considered renewable globally, specific local water resources can become depleted if used too rapidly. Responsible use of water is crucial to maintain sustainable water supplies. The concerns of a proposed quarry in Casita are multifaceted, and one of those concerns is our water. From the well owner meeting, we gained some information about wells and fracture systems which can be impacted negatively if this proposed quarry is allowed to happen. Casita is located in the Piedmont section of Alabama, and it sits on a fractured rock aquifer system. This physiographic section is very specific to us, and the rest of Alabama's water system may indeed look very different. Our water in this area is located in fractures or cracks in rock. It means that well depths could vary between 30 feet to 500 feet, depending on when the driller hits a fracture that holds enough water to sustain a well. There are approximately 55 private wells surrounding the proposed quarry site. Most of these private wells have no other option for water, as we have been told that Hughley water is at capacity and no one else supplies water to our system. If the proposed quarry site is approved, it is a very real possibility that some or all of these wells could be affected due to the drilling into the rock that could hit a fracture. We also learned that we could see an overall lowering of the water table, and it could affect wells for miles. Water is a basic necessity, not just for households, but also for businesses. Currently, wells in the immediate 1 mile radius provide in excess of 20,000 gallons per day to provide water for local cattle farmers, and household wells provide approximately 3,000 gallons per month. We are asking you to help us to protect our water and basic life necessities. Additionally, water is vital to all the wildlife living off the ponds and streams in Casita. Wetlands could also be destroyed if the water is depleted. I ask that you make sure you are educated on this fractured water system and the effects that a quarry can have on our wells. In closing, much information can be found to support either side of the quarry issue, and yet the history of this particular quarry is yet to be written. Because of the limited water sources for us, this is not something to leave to chance. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today, and I thank you for your service to our state through your position. I ask that you strongly consider our need of water as you make your decision on this quarry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rebecca Massey. And up next will be Rachel Robertson.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Massey. I live less than a mile within the radius of the proposed site, and I have a little girl who was born at 23 weeks gestation. She has a lung disease. Until the age of 5, she was required to have oxygen 24/7. She was able to develop her lungs enough at about age 5 to start weaning off. She's 9 years old now. She still requires oxygen at night. She has an oximeter that she hooks up to at night that watches and monitors her lung capacity and function. She's been life flighted 5 times in her life to Children's and UAB in Birmingham because of lung disease. I know that you say that the trucks are going to be wet down before they leave away, and as Miss Seeley said, on a hot day, if you live in Alabama, go wet yourself with a hose and see how quickly you dry off. It's not going to work. It doesn't work. There's enough studies that I don't have to point them out to you. You've read them. That dust affects everyone within miles. Those dust clouds can be traveled up to 3 to 5 miles away. It's going to affect her daily activity from October through March. She's not allowed to leave the house. We don't go anywhere. She goes to therapy, and that's it, because of her lung capacity and trying to avoid flu and cold season. Her only activity is playing in her yard. If you affect and you damage her air quality in her own backyard, what is she going to do then? I can't afford to move and go anywhere else. I've sold small parts of my property to family members just to provide myself and my little girl a support system. You'll be destroying her one activity that keeps her life normal, being able to play in her own backyard. I really hope that you'll consider this and how it affects not just her lungs, but there's many elderly people in our community that live close by, and it will affect their lung capacities too.
Rachel Beth Robertson. Carla Williamson is next.
Dear members of the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, my name is Rachel Robertson, and I was raised on our family farm just 1.2 miles from the proposed site of the granite quarry. Now, I'm raising my own young child on that same land, hoping to give her the same kind of peaceful, wholesome upbringing I was lucky enough to have. I'm here to express my deep opposition to the quarry proposal, not just as a resident, but as a mother, a farmer, and someone whose roots run deep in this community. Life on a farm teaches you to pay attention to the rhythms of the land, the sounds of nature, and to the health of the environment that sustains you. I can't imagine the peace of our countryside being shattered by the constant noise of blasting, trucks, and machinery. I can't imagine my child breathing in dust stirred up day after day, playing in fields where the air and water can be tainted. This quarry threatens the health and safety of our families, our animals, and our way of life. We work hard to live simply and responsibly. We care for our land so that it can keep caring for us and future generations. A quarry is not just a business venture. It's a permanent scar on the landscape, one that cannot be undone. Once the blasting begins, the damage to our roads and water and air and our peace of mind cannot be reversed. We are not just talking about rocks. We're talking about homes, farms, schools, and children. We're talking about the right to live in a place where clean air, clean water, and quiet nights are not luxuries, but birthrights. Please, I urge you to consider what's really at stake here. Not just profits, but people. Not just land, but life. Thank you.
Carla Williamson, and Kim Williamson is next.
You're about to see how much alike we are. My name is Carla Robertson Williamson, and I'm here to express my opposition to the proposed granite quarry only 1.2 miles from our family farm, which has been passed down through generations. My dad is the fifth generation farmer.
Ms. Williamson, can you get a little closer to the microphone?
That better? My dad is the fifth generation. My sister and I are the sixth, and we are raising the seventh, whose sweet little faces you can see here this evening. For generations, our family has worked this land with pride and cared for livestock in an environment which teaches us an invaluable life lesson about hard work, respect for nature, and community. This proposed quarry threatens the health of our land, air, and water, as well as the well-being of my family, our community, and the future of our farm. Speaking on health, I'm immunocompromised due to receiving a kidney transplant in 2013. I'm currently on dialysis, waiting for another life-saving transplant. In 2015, I was hospitalized with histoplasmosis and aspergillus. Both of these fungi come from bat and bird droppings and are found in our soil. In fact, we are all breathing it in right this moment. I was so ill that the infectious disease doctors at UAB did not expect me to make it. Fortunately, I did, but with scarred lungs from the polyps that histo and aspergillus cause. Removal of the topsoil from the quarry site and blasting will not only release the cancer-causing silica dust that we are all aware of into the air, but also fungi like the histoplasmosis and aspergillus, bacteria, and other spores that can negatively affect our lungs. The dust, air pollution, and possible water contamination will be detrimental to my health and the community's health. The operation of this proposed quarry will be detrimental to our farm life as well. The dust and debris from the gravel extraction process will significantly worsen our air quality. Cattle will develop respiratory issues and hay and forage quality will diminish. The water sources that have sustained our land and livestock for generations will be contaminated by dust and runoff from the quarry. That's if the lakes, streams, and wells don't dry up. I worry about the long-term consequences for my family and community that depend on these resources. This quarry will also threaten our peace, the peace that farming brings, where you wake up to the sound of birds, cows mooing, and the smell of fresh earth and freshly cut hay. This will be shattered by the noise and disruption from the quarry. My children will no longer experience the tranquility and connection to the land that I did growing up. The blasting and noise pollution from the quarry will negatively affect my son, who has been diagnosed with autism, ADHD, PTSD, and anxiety. He doesn't do well with loud noises, and the blasting will keep him in a constant state of dysregulation. This proposed quarry not only threatens our farm, but also the broader farming community and the casita community. It is the threat to the way of life that has sustained our rural area for generations. Farm life teaches us resilience, unity, and the importance of preserving our environment. However, this quarry will inevitably destroy the delicate balance that keeps our community and its farmers alive. I urge you to consider the impacts of the quarry and to take steps to protect our farmland, air, water, and health. The effects on our community and my family heritage will be lasting and irreversible. Please take our concerns into account and ensure that the right decisions are made to protect our farms and our future generations. Thank you.
Cam Williamson. And Patricia Smith is next.
Good evening. My name is Cameron Douglas Williamson. I'm a Senior Master Sergeant retired, served 21 years in the Alabama Air National Guard in the United States Air Force. Spent close to 4.5 years in austere locations with poor living quality and poor living air conditions, similar to what this quarry is going to bring. Why am I telling you this? It's not to get you sympathy from a broken, disabled combat vet. I want to establish myself as an authority of what actually will happen to people, not what we're predicting to happen to people. From my understanding, ADEM is the governmental authority on statistical analysis and grants reports for quality of air and water in situations like these. Is that correct? I forgot, I can't ask y'all questions because I ain't gonna answer them. But I want to be your living example of actual effects of poor air quality, non-potable water due to environmental changes and bad living conditions. The recent signing of the PACT Act has become immutably clear that effects of poor environment, poor air, poor water have on the human body. I've lived through limited access to quality groundwater and had to rely on bottled, imported potable water sources due to the effects of trying to accomplish the simplest of tasks, such as brushing of teeth. To take extra care when showering to not ingest local water sources that were polluted and likely causes of symptoms like Crohn's disease. I have Crohn's disease. I've suffered through many days of breathing that air that possessed so many harmful chemicals and silicate matter. I have pulmonary fibrosis and scarring of the lungs to the effect of feeling like coughing up glass in the morning, shortness of breath, and the feeling of concrete lungs when I try to play with my kids. I've had surgeries in my nasal cavities, larynx, throat, and even removal of a silicate-type mass behind my left eye due to air quality. Due to lowered oxygen supply and because of my affected lungs, I have diminished risk-reward cognitive ability, poor sleep, and other various symptoms. I think it suffices to say that I would be authority on the topic of what actually happens when we pollute with silicate matter in our air supply. The reason I'm speaking to you today is not because of me. I have 3 young children who live less than a mile from the proposed site. I signed a contract for my service. I volunteered. No matter what happened to me, I was okay with. My 3 young children are being volunteered to have the same symptoms that are happening to me happen to them. They're not volunteering that. They don't have any kind of say in that. Pardon me. Their health is being volunteered by someone who's putting profit margin on my children's livelihood. I respect the autonomy of landowners and farmers, but that autonomy there should have a responsibility and a level of respect to communal landowners and their families. And personally, I do not care if that proposed owner or the leaser of this has a quarry or what have you. I care about the location. I have an issue with a governmental authority that looks at stats and numbers instead of people and deems what's acceptable for people to live with. I also have an issue with a proposed leaser choosing wealth and greed over my kids' health and their needs. As a father, I want to provide my 3 beautiful children, Jaslyn, Riley, Julian, Bryce, and Hala Evelyn, the best opportunity, success, and a lifetime of happiness and healthiness. Thank you for your time and thank you for your consideration.
Patricia Smith, and then Terry Carlisle.
Good evening. I'm Patricia Robertson Smith, and I appreciate ADEM allowing me to speak. My family has owned a farm in Casita since the early 1800s. We have considered the Robinson Farm our sanctuary, and every Robinson has worked to utilize and improve the land generation after generation. This proposed quarry will be detrimental to our Casita community due to the proximity to houses, silos, cattle, wells, wetlands, farms, and families. I would like to talk to you about a few inconsistencies between the quarry application and the ADEM draft permit. The pre-construction analysis states under hours of operation, 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year, which equals 2,600 hours per year. On page 2 of the pollution abatement plan, the PAT plan, initial issuance July of 24, the information states, and I quote, hours of operation are generally 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday, and Saturday 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Other hours, I'm quoting, other hours may include operation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The necessity of other hours will be determined as needed by the facility. Question, which is correct? The Rocky Glades Fund application or the ADEM pre-construction analysis? Is the ADEM actually going to let the facility have the option of 24/7 and let the facility decide at their discretion? As everyone knows, the option becomes the norm. So it could be under hours of operation, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, actually equal 8,736 hours per year. That's 8 times more than what the pre-construction analysis states. An emission test, on the emission test comments under Appendix B, why is the visible emissions the only pollutant requiring testing? Why volatile organic compounds, which are known quarry pollutants, not tested? How are the measurements taken? On the PAT page 6 on the settlement, it states a crossing will be required to access a future mining area. What future binding area? When and where? The water truck sprinkler system will likely wet the roads. What actual procedure and measurement will be used in that? On the SPCC Plan Part B, the phone numbers are incorrect on the Rocky Glades Fund LLC application. The local fire department listed is in Wedowee, Alabama, 45 miles away and 54 minutes away. The local water phone number actually is the Randolph County Sheriff's Department, which is, again, 53 minutes away. No spill cleanup contractor contact information is listed. Obviously, the applicant did not do their due diligence in various areas. Water risk. We know that Double Branch and Hiawatha Creek will receive quarry water. We also know Hiawatha Creek flows into Lake Harding. Lake Harding and Sagahatchee Lake are the water source for Opelika. Lake Harding, Bartlett's Ferry Reservoir in particular, is the water source for Chambers County residents. Many other Alabama and Georgia communities use this as a water source. There are no water restrictions or protections stated when the volume of water is used. Potential collapse of private wells. I'm one of those wells. Casita residents don't have an option of any other water supply. Shouldn't this be the deciding factor to ensure our water supply will not be affected? My location is one of the 50 wells, and I also have a pond within the 2-mile radius. What will be my recourse? Talking to y'all earlier, my recourse is I've got to sue the quarry people. We're not going to talk about age. You want me, when I didn't go for this, to sue somebody? I've got to go get legal representation to sue somebody. Let's talk about the air. No air quality monitors are near the proposed site facility. Air pollutants will exceed national and WHO standard. Quarry and additional truck traffic affect regional air quality even beyond the 5-mile radius. We all know this. No site evaluations concerning potential environmental impacts on surrounding businesses and residential areas have been done. We can leave also the truck, the HGV, heavy goods vehicles, will be a risk and will exceed the national and WHO level requirements. Health and landscape. The above issues are just a few of many concerns Casita residents have. We're asking that we all work together to protect the citizens of Casita as well as Chambers County and Lee County. And we would like you would if your family and proposed quarry was being located in your neighborhood. Thank you.
Terry Carlisle and Douglas Fuller is next.
I'm Terry Carlisle. I live just a little northwest of my friends in Casita, Alabama. 3rd generation farm bar myself, and speaking on behalf of my friends in Casita, and I've also attended church in Casita for about 60 years. Thank you all, ADEM, Chambers County Commission, all those present here today. Those of us who are highly opposing for a quarry to locate in Casita, Alabama, are aware that rock quarries are needed and essential. However, not in populated areas where people and livestock reside. Air and water are things God put here clean and pure. And as occupants in this world, we owe it to God as well as ourselves and our fellow man to help ensure pure, safe, clean water to drink and pure, safe, non-toxic air to breathe. We understand water and air are essential for all living things. Fact, anywhere a rock quarry locates, the #1 issue is health. Due to extensive digging, drilling, dynamiting, and we're talking extensive drilling and digging beyond the Earth's surface, which means striking several water veins, traveling many directions, affecting the drinking water for humans and livestock for many miles. Not just water in Casita, Alabama would be affected. Geographically, where Casita lies, Old Snipper Creek is a major creek. that feeds into Lake Harding. And in case you don't know, Lake Harding feeds into, as already been stated, nationally known Chattahoochee River. Osnipper Creek can be crossed at more than a dozen locations in Chambers County alone. However, let me inform you that Osnipper Creek has many crossings in Lee County, Alabama as well. Plainly put, a quarry in Casita, Alabama would contaminate water flowing to the Chattahoochee River as well as the Alabama River, and where these waters meet further south in the north part of Opelika, possibly some backflow could overflow into the Tallapoosa River. People, we're talking larger than just Casita. That's why we need citizens from neighboring counties to join in this all-out effort to see that a rock quarry gets denied in Casita, Alabama. Another example is, yes, Harris County and Muskogee counties in Georgia. They need to join in with us, because this what would become toxic water would become their drinking water as well. Air quality in the vicinity of a rock quarry diminishes drastically. Explosives most commonly used for blasting are ANFO emulsions and ANFO emulsion blends. ANFO is a mixture of ammonium nitrate, AN, and fuel oil, FO. Imagine the health issues that would increase on individuals breathing in such toxics and poisons, not to mention possible fatalities that could result from breathing in such contaminated air. It's stated and proven respiratory diseases increase near rock quarry establishments. One particular disease is silicosis. Silicosis is a progressive, incurable, and sometimes fatal lung disease caused by inhaling large amounts of crystalline silical dust. It is a mineral found in rock, sand, clay, concrete, and sandstone, often referred to as RSC. So I hope and pray I've had some success in providing quality information and concerns to those of you on the ADEM or whomever will be making the decision of yay or nay as to whether or not to grant approval for a rock quarry to establish in Casita, Alabama. We, the people of Casita, surrounding areas, county, and state, hope and pray that you will see things as we see them and that you will favorably oppose a rock quarry located in Casita, Alabama. Thank all of you for your time, and God bless each of you.
Douglas Ray Fuller, and then I have just Jason.
I'm not coming to it.
You're Mr. Fuller? Are you Mr. Fuller?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Jason, please come up.
Just trying to stay incognito.
And please state your name and any entity you represent.
Yes, Jason Bryan. I am a volunteer fireman in Casita. I think probably in the 13, 15-year range now. I also work for I work for Opelika Water. We've seen the impact daily on what a quarry can do to a water system. It's sad. It's sad standing up here knowing that my neighbors and stuff are behind me that have got the same concerns and stuff that I do. We all know it's about money. They're going to pad their pockets. They're going to throw money at us. They can come in and say, hey, you know, we'll, if we can do this rock quarry, we'll provide y'all with water and new roads and everything else. We all know how that works. But me personally, I mean, my way of life and my family, you know, we're third generation farmers on this land. And I don't want to drink chlorine water. I don't, you know, man-made chemicals and everything else to treat it and everything else, I'll stick with my well water. But everybody behind me knows what their well is measured at, 400 feet, 200 feet. I've heard rumor that they're in the 600-foot range and they're still in product that they're after. And so we know that it's going to completely wipe our water out. Other thing is, I don't want to see these people behind me hit by a dump truck at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to go to work, and we're out there cleaning up the scene. Our roads won't take it. We can't take it. We can live without rock and concrete, but we can't live without water. But if we were cutting trees and stuff, we know that that'll heal. But once we do this, that's it. We're messed up for life. So please don't let this go through. So thank you.
Russell Black, and then Dina Little.
I'm Russell Black. I am a lifelong resident of County Road 389. I'm going to kind of go with a little different angle on this situation. That road, 389, Chambers County, is a basically a 1950s style road. It's tar and gravel. It's about 1.5 inches thick. At the present time, because I travel this road, there's anywhere from 20 to 50 holes in this road. It's in horrific condition. The road recently, there was an accident on Interstate 85. All traffic was diverted to this road, about 4 to 5 hours worth of traffic. The next day, in the eastbound lane heading towards the Casita post office, you could see the damage in the road from 4 to 5. Now these are just cars and trucks, normal vehicles, okay? So the road has 6 culverts in it that creeks run through, including the Halawaga. Those creeks those culverts have sunk in. Now this road is tar and gravel. So that road where they had sunk down, the Chambers County Highway Department just came in and put asphalt in 4 to 5 inches to bring it up to the road level. These culverts, there's no way they're going to take this traffic that's going to be put on this tonnage that's going to be put on. This road was tarred about 15 years ago, and all 6 of those culverts were brought up. And at that time, I stopped and talked to one of the supervisors for Chambers County Roads, and I asked him, I said, you know, how long are these going to last? He said they usually last about 20 to 25 years. Okay, that puts the life expectancy, you've got 10 years left, and they're already sinking into the creek beds. You put that tonnage on them, it's going to destroy them. They're going to go in. The road right now, just down from the Collins farm, there's 2 spots where it sinks into the ground, and it goes into the ground 12 to 18 inches into the ground. I mean, I say go drive the road. You're going to freak out. This road is in terrible condition. The tonnage on it is going to do a lot of damage to it, and I don't think Chambers County has the funds to fix this road. So and once those culverts are crushed in, you cut off Casita, Lynette, Valley area. Everybody will have to go to the interstate to be able to come to Lee County, okay? So tonight, what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask your state agency, I'm going to ask that the Chambers County commissioners are given time to contact and bring in the Alabama Department of Transportation and also the Alabama Department of Public Safety to do an impact study on this road. And I'd like to have that impact study go out to the public. We need time for that to happen. So I want the Chambers County Commission to have time to get that done. Thank you for your time.
Dina Little, then James Weldon.
Hello. Hello, my name is Dina Little, and I serve as the founder and executive director of Storybook Farm, a local nonprofit that annually serves 4,000 of this community's most vulnerable children. Storybook Farm is the only organization of its kind within 500 miles, and for more than 2 decades, we've provided life-changing equine, canine, and nature-based programming for children facing serious physical, emotional, developmental, and mental health challenges. I stand here today and tonight because I am deeply concerned about the proposed quarry site because it's very close to our farm located on County Road 389. The unavoidable dust pollution from the trucks driving past Storybook every day is not a minor inconvenience for kids with compromised immune systems. What may be considered acceptable levels of dust or particulate matter for the average adult is considered dangerous to these fragile children. Clean air and quiet spaces are not luxuries at Storybook, they're actual necessities. Additionally, I've been told that this permit states that Storybook Farm and local schools would receive contributions from the quarry. This is news to me. To the quarry proposers, please understand that no financial gain to Storybook Farm can outweigh the devastating impact your quarry will have on this community. And also, please understand that Storybook Farm will never accept your money. We don't want your quarry, and we do not want your money. And to my fellow citizens here, I applaud your efforts, and I stand fortified in assisting you to fight this destructive quarry. Thanks for your time.
James Weldon. Right here. James Weldon. I'm speaking on behalf of myself, my niece, Dr. Amy Weldon, and my nephew, Dr. Daniel Weldon. In addition to the degradation of property values and the well-documented tax burdens of repairs to roads damaged by heavy gravel trucks in any mining operation, burdens which inevitably fall on the landowners, not mining companies, we are deeply concerned about the long-term degradation to wildlife habitat and to air and water quality this gravel pit would represent. By the way, I've learned a lot tonight, and I think maybe I'm hoping ADEM has too. I learned that the city of Auburn has to spend $750,000 a mile to repair roads that are damaged by heavy trucks. The real potential for contamination of groundwater by metals, phenols, and cyanide, among other carcinogens and contaminants, is part of any mining operation, including this one. The permit states there will be discharged to Halawaki Creek, externalizing this deadly risk onto the people, the wildlife, and the waters of Chambers County, and beyond. And beyond, I live in Opelika. My drinking water from the city of Opelika in Sagahatchee Lake is now in the mix. This is unacceptable. Mining runoffs will drain into more than 80 acres of surface water within 2 miles of this site. Once groundwater is poisoned, that's it. The damage can't be reversed. Among species depending on this water are multiple varieties of insects, birds, turtles, bats, and microorganisms representing unique parts of Alabama's ecosystem, and a web of life that human beings did not create, but most certainly can destroy. Further, no amount of money can ultimately rectify that destruction. So, enough with the attempt to buy people. Without clean water, the community and its people have literally no way to live on the land they love. You've heard that tonight repeatedly. Gravel supplies, like any mine material, can be exhausted, and they will be. Mining companies can move on, and they have. Witness Spring Villa, the sinkholes. Settlement just came down years afterward recently. What happens to the community then? And to the land to the local economy, to the ecosystem to which those companies once promised such care. As landowners with deep family roots in Lee and Chambers County, we believe our community deserves longer-term, healthier economic solutions than gravel mining offices. And on a final note, I will just say, your decision, Alabama Department of Environmental Management, is whether you will be willing agents of destruction in the service of greed. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for speaking. That's the last registered speaker I have. Has anyone been left off in here and wish to speak? Okay. Since there are no other registered speakers, please be advised that the public comment period will end at 5:00 p.m. on Friday, May 9th, 2025. All comments must be received at the office of the Department in Montgomery by that time. After consideration of all oral and written arguments, the department will make a determination regarding the proposed permit actions and prepare responses to all relevant comments received. Thank you for participating this evening. This hearing is adjourned.